This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? All praises, honor, glory be to the Heavenly Father in the name of his only begotten Son and the Holy Spirit. Call Halayim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Wawahaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to you, sincere and humble brothers, faithfully and diligently preaching this word with fear and trembling, and shalom to the believers who subscribe wholeheartedly to this truth. I'm going to entitle this lesson, The Truth Told in Jest, or Truth Told in Jest, the Ninja Turtles and Renaissance Art. Okay? So in this, I want to focus on the connection between the Ninja Turtles, all right, an 80s cartoon sitcom, and Renaissance art. Because, of course, these four characters, all right, fictional characters, are named after actual real men from the Renaissance era, right? And when you go into the word Renaissance, it means rebirth. And the Renaissance era, which we here is at Great Millstone speak on quite a bit, is the time of Esau Edom coming back into power, all right, which was prophesied here in Revelation chapter 20, right? And I'm going to read verses 1 through 3. And then I'm going to get an article and get into the connection between the Ninja Turtles and the prophecy of the Edomites coming back into power during the time of the Renaissance era. All right. So this is Revelation 20, starting at verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon. All right. And now that dragon represents the Roman Empire. Okay, because the Roman Empire fell, all right, roughly around 325 AD, okay, which it was the Western Empire, or it was the Western portion of the empire, the Western Roman Empire that fell, okay, which was ruled by Edomites. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, all right, Esau Edom, the devil that the Bible speaks of, and bound him 1,000 years. And that 1,000-year period was roughly, again, around 325 AD up until the late 1300s is when Esau Edom came up out of the caves, up out of the pit, rose up and started to take power over the earth again. All right. It says, verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. All right. And that season is talking about the Renaissance era. All right. During the Renaissance era, you had what you call Renaissance art, right? Where they pretty much whitewashed the whole world with different sculptures, fresco paintings, oil paintings, you know, with different images, okay? Which this is something that had been going on even before now, okay, which we are still in the time of Esau Edom's reign, like I said, which began with them coming out of the caves into this season of what they name Renaissance, okay, which means rebirth, all right? Now, when you go back during the time of Antiochus, all right, when you're reading the Maccabees, which I'll get, right, you also had them doing the same thing. So they have always been known as culture vultures, people who take um, another nation's cultures, another nation's culture, and claims it as their own. And the reason why they do that is so they would never be found out to be Edomites. Okay. So this is First Maccabees 3:48. It says, now this is talking about the Maccabees once they uh, came into the temple, all right, after it had been ramshacked by Esau Edom, all right, who at that time was going by the name of Greeks, all right, which is another culture that they stole, all right. It says, First Maccabees 3:48, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Okay. So as the scriptures say, the thing that had been is the thing that shall be, and there's no new thing under the sun, because the spirit of a man, all right, is ultimately the way that he will live. The spirit that's in a man is ultimately what dictates how he will live. All right. So Esau Edom is the deceiver and has always been the deceiver, and his power has always come through deception along with the sword. All right. So enough of that. I want to get into the significance of the spirit behind the creation of these fictional characters, the Ninja Turtles, and how they directly relate to Esau Edom's fall and rising back up again out of the bottomless pit. Okay. So I have an article, which Lord will I remember to put in the description box, from Carpe Diem Rome. And the website is carpediemrome.com. Published March 5th, 2021. Who are the Ninja Turtles named after? Who are the Ninja Turtles named after? Whether you studied art history or not, it is certain that you can name at least 4 Renaissance artists thanks to a comic book about the Ninja Turtles from the 1980s. All right. It says, from an Salakia. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap this up in a minute and get ready for camp, but Lord willing, I can get the meat out of it and it be edifying. So it says, from an art history point of view, perhaps it is rather depressing that the 4 baby turtles covered in mutagenic slime who became the peace-loving ninja heroes were given the names of artistic geniuses, so they say, from the Italian Renaissance, right? So that's where they got their names from, okay? The Italian Renaissance. All right, it says, why were these comic and cartoon characters named after Italian artists, and who were their namesakes, and are the characters anything like the geniuses whose names they were given? So the question is, why were they named after these Italian Renaissance artists? Now, to show you how the spirit works, watch when we get into it, the answer to that question. Why were they named after Renaissance artists? Okay, so it says they were created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Lord, artist friends from Northampton, Massachusetts, right? Which Massachusetts is also known as what? New England, right? Which is quote unquote the beginning of the new world. All right. So which that's all in the spirit. But let me carry on. It says one night while Laird was engrossed watching TV, Eastman drew a turtle standing upright with human features, a mask, and nunchuckers with a crude logo above Ninja Turtles. Above Ninja Turtle, right? So he drew this image of a turtle standing upright. Now the significance of that in the spirit is what? When Esau Edom was exiled into the Caucasus Mountains during the time of um, the Byzantine empires when it began, all right, which the era was known as what? The Dark Ages, medieval times, or the Middle Ages. And the reason why they called it the Dark Ages is because that is the time where the dark-skinned nations were ruling, chiefly Jake, okay? And they called it medieval times because what? It was bad times for them because they were uh, confounded to walking on all fours, all right, eating out of caves, eating their own dung, okay? So that is very similar to the rise up of the Ninja Turtles, okay? When you go into the storyline of the Ninja Turtles, if you're familiar with it, they were birthed in a sewer. And a sewer is what? A pit, okay? So this is the significance when you go into the storyline of the Ninja Turtles and the Renaissance era, all right? The transition from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance age, all right? Let me go on. So you're going to see here in a second a very strong point. It says, this would be the beginning of a multi-million-dollar franchise of comics, cartoon series, films, video games, toys, and other merchandise that gained worldwide success and fame and had endured to this day, right? So this simple painting or Salaki, this simple drawing of a of a turtle standing upright, all right, which they entitled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all right, became very prosperous from a simple drawing. That shows you how powerful art is, all right? And these Edomites knew that, all right? During the time of the Renaissance, that was the way that they ultimately came into power, through iconoclasm, all right? The destroying of the original images that was in the churches and the chapels, and the original sculptures of so-called black men, all right, which were actually the saints, the Israelites, okay, were actually dark-skinned men. These images were what they destroyed and then put up images of themselves as the saints, all right? Okay, so let's get into the storyline. It says, in the comic and cartoon, the turtles are named by their sensei, the art-loving ninja teacher Hamato Yoshi, who was turned into a rat nicknamed Splinter by the mutagenic slime. He named the turtles from his favorite artist in a tattered book on Renaissance art he found in the sewer. Of course, this doesn't explain why the creators Eastman and Lard gave their characters these names. Originally, they wanted ninja-sounding names, but couldn't come up with anything that sounded Japanese. So they named them after their own favorite artists. Catch that? So they were not even going to originally name the Ninja Turtles after these Renaissance artists. But because they couldn't come up with anything, it was just like a spirit of the moment type of thing, well, we'll just name them after our favorite Renaissance artists. All right. So that was ultimately the spirit. Okay. because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shimi Hawashai, these devils are exposing themselves. And this was set up, okay, during the time, roughly, you'll say about, what, 13 years after, pretty much Israel started to rise up again and come to the knowledge of the fact of who they were, because it all started around 1969, 1970, during the time of our forefather Abba Bivens coming on the scene. All right, and turning us back, okay, to our power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and who we were as a people. So you have 10 years later, the Lord had the Spirit ultimately cause these men to come up with a multi-million-dollar comic that actually exposes them for who they are and where they come from, man. Okay, so you had the first character here that they talk about, known as Donatello. Okay, it says Donatello, chosen only for his rhyming name, came first among these artists, born Donato di Niccolo da Beto. If I'm saying his name right, if I'm not, who gives a fuck? All right, excuse my French, but Donatello. All right, in 1386, he was of great influence to the other three. He studied classical sculpture, which he developed into a new Renaissance style, working with stone, bronze, wood, clay, stucco, and wax. He enjoyed a long and productive career all over Italy. All right, now it says Donatello was the first sculptor of the Renaissance to produce or reintroduce nude figures. All right, because the scriptures tell you about this man. All right, it says what? That he is a perverse man. And when you look at all the images during the time of the Renaissance art, especially by these four artists, all right, they are all pretty much nude images. Okay, so what does Hebrews tell us about this particular people? This is Hebrews 12 and 16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person. All right, profane goes into what? Being perverse. All right, outside of the temple. All right, that's the spirit of Esau Edom, because within the temple is sacred, man. Now, when we go into some of these images here in a second, you're going to see down there in Vatican City in the Sistine Chapel, all the images painted within the chapel, all right, which is supposed to be a place of holy congregation, right? All the images are in nude, right? Straight up perverse. But let me finish this. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, right? For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Okay, so this is all about Esau Edom, even until this day, getting his birthright back, dating all the way back to the late early 1400s. Okay, where this man has been running around the earth, deceiving the nations into believing that he is the chosen people of the Most High. All right. So another thing too that I was thinking about, you got to realize too, the spirit that the Lord put on these two men, Kevin Eastman. What's his name? Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, to not only name them Ninja Turtles, but to name them Teenage Ninja Turtles or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But when you focus on teenage, what is the teenage? The teenage is 13. All right. When did they come back into power? When did they start coming back into power? The 1300s, man. Okay. So the Renaissance era would be the teenage of would be the teenage, okay, which is the 1300s. Anyway, moving on to some of these paintings, right? So the first painting that Donatello, or his most famous, okay, painting was a sculpture of King David. And this is the sculpture here, all right? This one to the left is supposed to be a image of King David after he chopped off Goliath's head, all right? Now, why is he here standing, posing in the nude, all right, with a sword, okay? Which that's supposed to be Goliath's sword, all right? But this is madness, man. This is some straight up perverse blasphemy is what it is. This is what you call blasphemy, man. Now, nowhere in the scriptures does it ever say King David looked like that, for one. Two, nowhere in the scriptures does it say, when you read the account of the story of David and Goliath, that King David fought Goliath in the nude. Okay? These Edomites were a bunch of perverse moles, man. All right? This is sodomy, and this is straight up blasphemy against the Heavenly Father and the judges of the earth, man. Okay, beginning with Yahweh Shai, all right, and the Israelites. So the next artist that they have is Leonardo. Now it says Leonardo. He was a polymath of pure genius, they say, who excelled not only in drawing and painting, but in the sciences too. He was also an anatomist, engineer, and inventor. In art, his most famous work is, of course, the Mona Lisa, all right? Yet his Last Supper and Vitruvian, I don't even know how I'm saying this right, Vitruvian Man are also renowned worldwide. So Leonardo was responsible for this painting, all right, which is even more blasphemy, okay? Not even dealing with the complexion of these men, all right? Them being so-called white men is the first lie. But even worse, when you look at who's supposed to be Yahweh Shai, all right, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, all right, in the middle, when you look to the left of him, that's a woman, man. That's a woman. And then when you look to the right, all right, the third person to the right of Yahweh Shai in that red robe standing up is also a woman, okay? These are very feminine images, even the images of Yahweh Shai himself, okay? Got that long hair, all right? You see him pale, all these pale, pasty images, all right? This is what allowed Esau Edom to rise into power in the earth again, man, okay? Him setting himself up as the Most High, okay? Let me get a precept. This is 2 Thessalonians 2, and I start at 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. All right. Now, the time when these devils were coming into the power, like I said, that Renaissance era, all right, was a time also for us as Israelites to go into a great falling away of understanding who we were, and there's also the time where, we were in hardcore slavery, all right. Our culture and our heritage was beaten out of us, all right, pertaining to Jeremiah 17:4. We were discontinued from our heritage, ultimately at the hand of these Edomite devils. During the time of their coming back into power, we fell away. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. All right. Perdition goes into what? Destruction. Right. Again, iconoclasm. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called Yahweh power, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the most high power, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. All right. Prime example on the screen. This is him showing himself as the Most High, showing himself sitting in the temple of the Most High, which the temple, first and foremost, is the people before it's the place. All right. This is 1 Corinthians 3. See, it's 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not, 1 Corinthians 3:16, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? Okay. So we are the temple of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the Israelites. All right. The Israelites, who for the most part, all right, are dark-skinned men. Yahushua, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, in no way would have ever looked like a so-called white man. Okay. No way possible. First and foremost, that's leprosy, man. All right. That's leprosy. So that's Leonardo. That's the painting that he's famous for. All right. One of them anyway, The Last Supper. Now the next one they have here is Michelangelo. Okay. Now it says, this is one of the biggest devils of them all, Michelangelo. It says, a sculptor, painter, and architect, he was a bad-tempered, sullen character who was difficult to work with. It says, Michelangelo, the artist, became an overnight sensation at 24 when his Pieta was unveiled, or Pieta was unveiled in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. His next masterpiece, the David, was given pride of place next to the town hall of Florence. Okay. So this image, right, is Michelangelo's masterpiece. It says David is a masterpiece of Renaissance sculpture created in marble between 1501 and 1504. All right. Now you see, here it is, another image of who's supposed to be King David, once again nude. All right. More perverseness, more blasphemy. And yet again, who does it look like? A so-called white man. All right. Now Michelangelo, like I said, he is one of the biggest devils of the four. He's the biggest devil of all four, because he's responsible for a majority of the art that is worshipped. Now, he did the Sistine Chapel fresco, which is this image here. all right, which took him almost 4 years to do. All right, this is the Sistine Chapel ceiling um, painting or fresco painting by Michelangelo, where you have the entire ceiling, all right, in the cathedral of the Sistine Chapel, painted with so-called white images that are supposed to reenact biblical accounts from the Old Testament, mainly Genesis. So you see the creation of Adam. One of them is called the creation of Adam, the creation of Eve. You had I want to say they claimed that the reenactment of the flood was the first one that he painted. Okay, and then you also have Adam and Eve uh, in the garden being beguiled by the serpent. All right, which you see on this uh, picture right here. You know, but yeah, this is total and utter blasphemy, man. You know, but nevertheless, this is the means of how this man obtained his power in the earth. This was very pivotal. This was very pivotal for him to come into power. All right, because remember, before he came into the power, he was in the bottomless pit. He had absolutely no power amongst the nations, especially Jake. You know, because you go into the time of Constantine the Great. Constantine was a Jake, man. All right, the Moors, those were the Israelites uh, who practiced Islam. Okay, so Jake was being wicked, and ultimately that was why Jake fell out of power. All right, you know, because the spirit uh, ultimately had it set up that way anyway. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahushai plan was for us to fall away and them to come into power until the time of their destruction, and for us to come back to the knowledge of who we are and who our power is, and reveal these devils and expose these devils until, you know, they be taken out of the way. All right. Last, okay, of the four was Raphael. Okay. And this is one of the images that he painted. Okay. And it says crucifixion with the Virgin, saints, and angels. Again, more blasphemy. All right. Yahweh Shai, all right, who the world gonna call Jesus Christ, never looked like that. All right. The angels don't look like that. Okay. And you see how they painted all these pictures, and you wonder why nobody really understands the history, is because they don't tell you in their education system, man. See, they don't start with their true beginning. When we was in school, they started with, you know, pretty much them in the narrative of winning. All right, but they don't tell you when they was actually down, and when they were in the up in the Georgia, Russia, okay, up in Europe, in the caves and in that lower state, you know, because they're only going to tell you the story that they want you to hear, man. But nevertheless, these devils can't help themselves because of their pride. They expose themselves through truth told in jest, man. Okay? And all of these things that they do cause them to be exposed which ultimately the Lord put the Spirit on them to expose themselves. So I get a few scriptures and close out. This is one of my favorite scriptures, favorite books, Obadiah 1:6. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And ultimately, it's the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai that works with the prophets, the men of the Lord, okay, to go into the history and understand, you know, the prophecies that were written aforetime. Like I say, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. Okay. And it also says that the Lord, what? He requires that which is past. So the embodiment of the Spirit ultimately is to seek the old path, seek out, look at the days of old. You know, that's very key to revealing the wicked, right? And also very key to us understanding who we truly are and who the true power and judges of the earth are. Okay? So this is 2 Ezra 16 and I'll start at 61. He made man and put his heart in the midst of the body and gave him breath, life, and understanding. All right. So every man on the earth has a level of understanding that they got from the Most High. Every man has a spirit that they got from the Most High. Okay. Verse 16, yea, and the spirit of the Almighty Yahweh power, which made all things and searcheth out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth. Surely he knoweth your inventions and what you think in your heart, even them that would sin and would hide their sin. You see? Okay? That's Esau Edom, man. These are the men that have for so long, you know, worked in the shadows, behind the scenes, without being noticed. But that time is over, man. Okay, that time is over. Because the Lord is revealing these men and pulling away their covering cast. This is Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Who spread that veil over all nations? Esau Edom, the wicked, because that's what he does. He covered the faces of the judges thereof through, you know, conquering lands, you know, naming them after himself, you know, with the hopes that him taking over the power of the earth and setting himself up to be as the Most High would solidify himself as the one that got the blessing, all right, as the one that got the birthright, you know, showing himself to be the people of the Most High, okay? Because this is all about him getting his birthright back, man, at the end of the day. Get a couple more, I'm going to close out. This is Micah, let's see. Yep, this is Micah 2:1. And 2:1 in verse 2. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. All right. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You know? So that's the spirit of Esau Edom. That's what he does. You know, so all you have to do is follow what the spiritual attributes that the Bible identifies Esau Edom by, and you'll see who the devil is today, man. Okay? You'll see who the devil is today by reading the Bible, going into the prophecies, and studying the history. All right? And just watch the signs, man. The things that this man does, all it does is reveal him, man. Okay? So this is the last one. All right? This is Psalms 9 and 16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. All right. So this man has totally confounded himself by the hands of his own work, you know. And he thinks it's funny. But guess what? The joke is on you, E. And the end is at hand, and your destruction is not. Lord, will you edify? All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Hawakal Qadash. Kwam Yasharala, Abab, Abal, rise Israel, destroy confusion. Shalom, Labakaryam. Lord, will you edify? Peace to the elect.